The Prophet ﷺ did not only come as a compassion and mercy to only mankind. He came as a compassion and mercy to the whole world, to everyone and to everything. And the way that I intend to present this is by going back and showing you some stories or examples of the Prophet ﷺ and the way that how he was compassionate towards the different beings in his life. How he showed his compassion towards all creatures, human beings, non-Muslims, the women and children, the poor and the old, the sick and the sad, the animals and the insects even. How he showed his compassion even towards enemies of Islam, how he treated them, and how he treated women in general. There has certainly come to you a messenger from among yourselves, grievous and hurtful to him it is when you suffer. When we suffer, the Prophet ﷺ gets hurt and he feels pain for our suffering, eagerly concerned over us in guidance, compassionate and merciful. The Prophet ﷺ never lifted a sword at anybody or forced them to enter into Islam. He never forced anyone to embrace this religion, because a person who is to become a Muslim must become a sincere Muslim from the heart. We have never known you to be a liar, O Messenger, O Muhammad. You are a noble man who has always been truthful and honest. We believe you. Trying to save them from a fabricated religion which their ancestors brought them with, based on culture. And this culture, my dear brothers and sisters, was full of oppression, injustice. Another fierce battle. The Muslims were almost about to lose and they were running away. Then the Messenger ﷺ said, "O my companions, servants of Allah, come and seek refuge behind me, I will defend you." Who of us is ready to do that? And the Prophet ﷺ is ready to die in defense of his companions. One of the first things the Prophet ﷺ did was that he abolished the favorism of boys above girls. The Arabs in those days, they used to bury their daughters alive. They used to practice female infanticide. It's a criminal act of killing your baby daughter. And don't think that this act is not practiced today in some countries. I do not want to mention which countries, as to not offend some people of that country who may be sitting here. But this is actually practiced, the killing of young females, whether they are in the fetus or whether they are 1 year old or 2 years old. They kill them. They kill them, wallahi al-azim, because they have a culture. And the culture is that the boy carries on the name of the family. And when a woman gets married, she has to be a part of the husband's family. Whereas in Islam, the woman must keep her father's surname. Did you know that? The following story, my brothers and sisters, wallahi, I've read it many times. It always brings tears to my eyes when I remember my beloved Prophet ﷺ. A man that existed amongst the companions who used to, I could see him talking normal and smiling or laughing, and then suddenly at occasions he would start to cry, and cry so much until he went unconscious. The companions told the Prophet ﷺ about this man to try and read on him for healing. So the Prophet ﷺ called this man and wanted to help him. He took him aside and said, what happens to you, my brother? The man said to him, "Ya Rasulullah, I was never going to tell anyone this, but now that you've asked me, I must tell you. Before I embraced Islam, I used to have a daughter. When she was born, I wanted to bury her, because the cultural ideology came into my mind. And I started to think that when she grows older, she will bring shame to my family. But I stopped myself. My heart for my daughter was overpowering. Years and years went by as I watched her grow. And then one day, when she reached close to a blossoming age, she was about to become a lady. He said, I began to have nightmares and desperation and distress. The pain of my culturalism came into me, thinking of the shame that my daughter is going to bring with me if she walked off with another fellow and brought shame to all my ancestors. Day by day, I wanted to do something, but then my heart, my love stopped me. Until one day, he said, I could not handle it anymore, Ya Rasulullah. I said to her mother, dress her up with neat clothes and comb her hair nicely and decorate her face and tell her your father today is taking you out to a party, a celebration, so that she can play with the other friends of hers. The mother knew that the father was up to a plot and a plan. So she dressed her daughter up. She combed her hair while she was crying. The mother was crying. And she powdered her face and made her nice while the mother was crying. The daughter's asking, what's wrong, mother? And the mother would say, nothing, daughter. She's not allowed, otherwise the husband will beat her, or probably even kill her. The daughter said, Daddy's taking me out for a celebration. I love my dad. After decorating her, the father came along in the evening and he took his daughter. The wife grabbed her husband's hand and said to him, and whispered to him, but his daughter could hear, and she said some words that made his heart shiver, and the daughter to remember. لا تضيع الأمانة يا رجل. O man, do not lose the trust. Your daughter is your trust. The man took his daughter away, and on his way he's thinking to himself, what am I going to do? And the daughter is playing around her father, thinking that her father loves her. He said, I approached a very deep well which was steep and deep and had rocks, sharp rocks at the bottom. He said, suddenly the pains and agonies of my culturism came and burnt me. And I began to think, should I throw her? Should I not throw her? So I would come close, then my heart would not let me. Suddenly the culturalism would come in. He said, I wrestled and wrestled. Suddenly, when I came close to the well, I grabbed my daughter and I threw her into the well. And my daughter howled with her open, horrific eyes, looking at me and saying to me, Daddy, لا تضيع الأمانة. Oh Dad, don't lose the trust. Don't lose the trust, Daddy. And the man then threw her into the well. He said, Ya Rasulullah. She kept falling, saying, لا تضيع الأمانة يا أبي. لا تضيع الأمانة, until her tiny voice went away. I couldn't hear her anymore and she died, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ looked up at him and his beard was soaked with tears. ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ's beard was soaked with tears, and he said to him, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to allow me to punish anyone for the killing and murder of anyone before Islam, I would have started with you. I would have started with you. The Prophet ﷺ was the most compassionate, even to the women. And he used to say to them, Mahlan bil qawarir. Take care of your precious pearls, your daughters and your wives. Stawsu bin nisa'i khayra. Have kindness towards your wives and be patient with them. Be patient with them, for they make a lot of mistakes and you are not infallible. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you see a bad habit of hers, then remember the good things that she does and overcome that with that and forgive her for her ill comings. The Prophet ﷺ was the most compassionate.